To my incredible viewers, thank you for trusting me with your time and hearts. I promise you're about to experience a story that will grip your soul and linger long after the last word. I never imagined I'd find myself standing outside my own home, the cool evening breeze brushing my face as though mocking my confusion. The door was slightly ajar, which immediately set my heart racing. Not with anticipation, but with a dull, creeping fear. Inside, everything looked normal. But normal had begun to feel like a lie. I had been married to Clara for 7 years. And yet in these past few months, I had started sensing cracks I couldn't ignore. Subtle things. A phone left face down. A laugh that felt forced. A scent on her clothes I didn't recognize. I told myself I was overreacting. I didn't want to believe suspicion could take root in a house that had once been my sanctuary. It began, of all things, with a casual conversation. "I'm thinking about moving out for a while," she said, her voice unusually calm, almost rehearsed. "What?" My pulse skipped. "Moving out? Where would you even go?" "I just need some space," she replied, eyes avoiding mine. There was a strange defiance in her tone, a quiet certainty I didn't understand. "I need to see if this marriage is what I really want." I laughed nervously. "You mean like a vacation? A temporary thing?" Clara shook her head. "No. I want to experience life outside of us for a bit, to see if maybe I'm settling." Her words hit like shards of glass. I didn't want to believe her. The idea that she might be testing me, or worse, testing herself on someone else, was unbearable. But I nodded, pretending calm, pretending trust, while a storm began to brew quietly inside me. Weeks passed. She moved out, taking a suitcase and leaving behind a faint scent of jasmine and something else. Something I couldn't place but would haunt me later. I tried to act normally, keeping up routines, pretending work and friends could fill the void she left behind. But late at night, my mind betrayed me. I replayed her words endlessly, to see if this marriage is what I really want. What did that mean exactly? Then the subtle hints began. At first, it was nothing. A familiar laugh carried down the hall from her new apartment, caught in fleeting echoes of a conversation I wasn't part of. A delivery man mentioned leaving a package for her at her new place, which she had told me was empty. I brushed it off, telling myself I was imagining things. But the unease gnawed at my insides, persistent and hungry. One evening, unable to bear it any longer, I followed her. Not recklessly, but with quiet, deliberate steps. I watched from across the street as she unlocked the door to a small, tastefully decorated apartment. She disappeared inside, and moments later, a man, tall and casually dressed, emerged from the shadows, brushing his hand against her shoulder in a way that made my stomach twist. I froze. My chest tightened. Every rational thought fled. The betrayal didn't make sense, yet every detail confirmed my worst fears. I didn't run. I didn't yell. I just watched, feeling the collapse of trust one had always assumed was unshakable. Days passed, and I confronted her. Not with anger at first, but with trembling restraint. "Clara, I need to understand. Who is he?" I asked, voice low, almost a whisper. She looked at me, surprised at first, then a faint, almost imperceptible smirk appeared. "He's someone who appreciates me. Someone who makes me feel alive," she said. My mind reeled. "Alive? You lived with me for 7 years. Was that not enough?" Her eyes filled with something I didn't recognize, regret, maybe, or defiance, but her words cut deeper than any knife. "I needed to see if you deserved me," she confessed, each syllable deliberate, heavy with implication. "I wanted to know if you'd fight for me, or if you'd let me go." The room spun. My hands shook. I had been betrayed, yes, but the cruelest part wasn't just the affair. It was the calculated game, the test of my devotion, my love, my very worth. She had treated our marriage like an experiment, and I was the subject. I walked away that night without a word. The betrayal hung between us, thick and suffocating. I didn't know if I was angry, heartbroken, or numb. Maybe all three. I spent nights replaying our memories, wondering if every laugh, every shared moment, had been overshadowed by her doubt, her need to measure me against someone else. Weeks turned into months. I confronted the man once, not with fists but with cold words that cut sharper than steel. "You can have her," I said. But know this, she won't find love there. Not the kind that stays, not the kind that builds. Eventually, Clara returned. But it wasn't a return to love, it was a return to reckoning. She stood at the threshold, eyes pleading, as if her absence and betrayal could be washed away with apologies. I looked at her, really looked, for the first time in months. I saw the woman I had loved, yes, but I also saw the one who had tested me, who had manipulated the bond we had. And I realized something terrifying yet liberating. I could not go back to what we were. Clara, I said finally, voice steady despite the chaos inside. I loved you. I still do. But what you did, it changed everything. I can't be the man who waits while someone else decides if I'm worthy. Her face fell. Tears glistened in her eyes, but I didn't waver. I hope you find what you're looking for, I continued. And I hope you understand what it truly costs to betray love. She turned and left. The door closed, and for a long, quiet moment, I stood alone, feeling the weight of loss but also the strange relief of truth. Betrayal had carved a hollow space in my chest, but within that void, I could finally breathe again. I didn't know what the future held, or if love would ever feel safe again. But I knew one thing. I would no longer live under the shadow of someone's test. I would reclaim myself, piece by fractured piece, and let the darkness of betrayal fade into something I could learn from, even as it left scars. The house was empty, yet for the first time, it felt like mine. The betrayal had been devastating, yes, but it had also been a brutal lesson in resilience, self-worth, and the courage to walk away. And as I stepped into the fading light of that evening, I realized that love, true love, isn't about tests or games. It's about choice, trust, and the willingness to be fully known, without conditions, without trials, without someone measuring your worth against the shadows of their curiosity.